And thanks, gentlemen, very much for being here today. And Admiral Aquilino, we wish you the best in your next chapter. And thank you so much for your service. Admiral Aquilino, as the combatant commander for Indo-PACOM, you do have a lot on your plate. You've heard from my colleagues. We understand the threat that China poses as our pacing threat. In July, I had received back some RFIs from SOCOM, and they stated that global combatant commanders will require more SOF forces and great power competition. That same RFI stated that the U.S. Army's force structure cuts to SOF enablers will increase risk to operational commanders, specifically cuts to the SOF formation, decrease our ability to meet combatant commanders' requirements. Admiral, do you agree with SOCOM's assessment that you will need more SOF forces in great power competition?
Thanks, Senator. It's good to see you again. So General Fenton's been a great partner for a number of years. So as we look at laying down the correct posture in Indo-Pacific Command in order to deter conflict, there is an absolute SOF component of that. And it has increased as we've laid out what do we believe we need in place. General Fenton has supported that. So our posture has increased. Again, I can't speak to the other combatant commands, but I've also put my money where my mouth is because I have my senior enlisted advisor sitting behind me is a Navy SEAL. So I needed some SOF too in the headquarters.
Absolutely.
But thanks.
Thank you. So you would agree, Admiral, that those relationships that those SOF personnel develop in your region are extremely important. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Their ability to operate persistently with our partners for training, for increasing of combat capability, and then ultimately, should there be conflict, to have them in the right place, critically important to me.
Very good. And throughout the morning, I've heard my colleagues talk about relationships and how important they are, and whether that is nation to nation, member to member, mill to mill. All of that is very important. So I've worked with a number of members in a bipartisan way here on some of the Kofa Nations and the Convene Act. And can you speak to the relationship that those Kofa nations have and how that helps stabilize the region?
Yes, ma'am. Before I do that, I do want to thank you for passing the Kofa agreement with the funding required. That was critically important to our national security. We defend those islands like they're our homeland. Those Kofa states contribute more military members per capita than anywhere else. We value their service and their importance. But bottom line is the right force in the right place at the right time to deliver the right effect. That's what we look at. And in many cases, those are SOF forces, especially with smaller nations. They can go in. Or if they don't have militaries, there's an opportunity for our SOF to work with police forces and other island capabilities that provide benefit.
Thank you very much. And General LaCamera, kind of staying on the theme of these relationships, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a softball. This was not a scripted question, but because I know that you have a personal relationship with the person I'm going to reference, and he is a hero to many. The last remaining Medal of Honor recipient from the Korean War is Colonel Ralph Pucket. And the Korean president, President Moon, South Korean President Moon, was here in May of 2021 during that ceremony at the White House where Colonel Pucket was given his Medal of Honor. Can you speak just briefly in the minute I have left about the significance of the president being here from South Korea during that award ceremony? Tell us a little bit about Colonel Pucket and his service to South Korea and the United States so that we can honor him today.
Oh, thanks, Senator. Yes, Colonel Pucket, if there's one thing he taught me many years ago as a lieutenant and all the way up as my honorary colonel of the regiment, the Ranger Regiment is that combat is simple blocking and tackling. So picture yourself, brand new second lieutenant, sail over to South Korea, land in the Pusan perimeter, and are told to stand up a Ranger company as a second lieutenant. He stands it up, he fights, He's wounded. He tells his folks to leave him there. He's still, from his wounds, I think he still had many surgeries, and they still leak. And he's a national treasure. Hard as woodpecker lips.
Yes.
We'd always find him down there in the snowstorm, correcting machine gunners on what to do going forward. So the fact that the President of the United States, and I believe it was President Moon, was there that presented him the Medal of Honor, or he was there when he got the U.S. Medal of Honor, and then last year during the state visit, he received the Korean version of that.
Yes.
And his service is legendary all the way through. I think if you were to talk maybe even to Chairman Reed, who probably remembers Colonel Pucket at the Academy, Ranger Pucket, he's probably starting to sweat right now. So he has mentored and tormented many of us to this location, and he is a national treasure. So thank you.
Thank you, General LaCamera. I think he's pretty outstanding, and I had you tell his story because I want folks to recognize that so many of these relationships through so many eras of conflict, that the United States has always been a leader, and the men and women that serve in uniform have been recognized by so many nations around the globe. And we do face eras of isolationism as well, and it's incredibly important that we maintain leadership around the globe. Our sons and daughters are going forward. They are sacrificing so much for our nation, but we are being recognized by those nations as well. Those relationships matter. They will always matter. So thank you for taking time to honor Colonel Pucket today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.